Welcome back to Fast Market on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White. I'm joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks, but we've also going to bring in our next guest, and that's going to be Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio.com. He's joining us for a discussion. It's pretty broad-based here, Landon. We're talking the Metaverse, we're talking Coinbase, we're talking crypto. What kind of data out of LikeFolio do you have on this subject? Because, hey, we just got this news yesterday that Mark Zuckerberg's changing the name to Metaverse and Meta, whatever. MVRS is a ticker symbol starting December 1st. What kind of data are you looking at already?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes people to start calling them that. I still refer to Google as Google, even though I guess it's Alphabet. So I think we're going to hear Facebook for a long time before they start saying Meta. But, I don't know if you guys are Lakers fans. You guys remember Ron Artest? He made this move back in 2011.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
World peace. Right, so
Landon,
we'll see if it has any impact.
Drafted by the Bulls originally.
Drafted by the Bulls, good call. All right, so you know him. Awesome.
Yeah.
No, I think this one might be a little bit more significant. They're actually referring to the Metaverse, which is a concept that's sort of taking over. LikeFolio did a large report on this a few months ago. It's Metaverse mentions on social media are up 3,000% year over year. This is a booming concept, and this is perfect for Facebook. I mean, they've got about half of the world as users, and they've got virtual reality, they've got social media, they've got everything to build out their corner of the metaverse and try to sort of take it over and become dominant players in it. You can see here, this is a concept that really wasn't around 2 years ago, 3 years ago for 99.9% of the people. No idea what this is, and many still don't. So this is a trend that's growing. It's basically like an online reality, or the world that we can all interact with. It's taking, I guess, social media to the next level, and it's putting it on the blockchain where everything can be verified, nothing can be hacked. And it's all secure, and it's all decentralized and anonymous. So there's a lot of interesting things happening in this world, and I think it's telling that Facebook is going into this. I mean, they're investing $10 billion, which is a large number even for them. That's almost 3 months worth of their revenue. So this is a lot of money that they're putting into this. It's a big bet on the future. You're not going to change your name, obviously, without putting a lot behind it. So that's definitely interesting for Facebook. You've also got a lot of other players in this field, like Coinbase and other cryptocurrency brokers. So the thing about it is, there are so many players in this space that, yes, I think that it's easy to think of Coinbase as the winner for cryptocurrency brokerages, but there are literally hundreds of places you can buy crypto or swap crypto. And even though they have a monster lead right now, I would say that they are. I think the fees are a little bit high. For example, if you want to buy one Bitcoin, it's about $60,000 right now, but the fees on that are $125. I mean, think about if you're going to buy $60,000 worth of stock at TD Ameritrade. What are the fees? Zero. I mean, it's ridiculous when you compare to the fees of crypto. It should be much lower. So I think that they're a little bit behind right now. However, they are booming. I mean, you can see from this chart the mentions are through the roof. And it's just incredible how many people are talking about using Coinbase. So I think they're the early leader. They're the sort of the safe bet, right? Everybody always talks about be careful keeping your money in a hot wallet or an online wallet as opposed to cold storage. But Coinbase is almost the exception because they are the regulated, unhackable one. So everyone feels more safe with them. But they have a lot of competition coming, so I'm concerned with that. But again, this space is blowing up, and I think that it's big that Facebook is making this move. I'd love to hear, Kevin, what are your thoughts about this? What do you think about the name change? What do you think about the space overall?
Yeah, Landon, this is exactly what I wanted to talk about. That was the bombshell that dropped yesterday. And, I get it, right? I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to drill down towards that lower demographic, much what he talked about, right? And this does that. And Google Alphabet has already done this, right? In 2015, they did this. So under the metaverse, it's going to be Facebook, it's going to be Instagram, it's going to be Oculus, it's going to be WhatsApp. But here's what I thought, and I told Oliver Rennick this yesterday, what I thought was one of the bigger parts of this that got really underreported was their partnership with Take-Two and the fact you're going to be able to do Grand Theft Auto on Oculus. I think that it was a very underreported part of this presentation yesterday. And there it is. There's your entry to the lower demographic right there. The video game playing, Grand Theft, enormously popular brand, brand by Take-Two. And I think that, Landon, is what's going to drive. It's the video game part of it that may drive them into that younger demographic. I'd like to know your thoughts on that one.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of, I guess, different elements of what you might refer to as the metaverse. There's a ton of it. And blockchain gaming is probably the biggest one. It's absolutely exploding. If you look at the number of mentions among all things that are sort of metaverse, you've got blockchain gaming. I think it's around plus 5,000% year over year, absolutely blowing up. And if you think about that, you can play a game like Grand Theft Auto. You can do it in virtual reality. You can be interacting with the blockchain. So it's sort of out there and shared by everyone in theory. And it's a huge concept. But I mean, don't sleep on these other ones. These are big numbers, right? 200, 400, 400, 400, 800%. These are all elements of sort of, I guess, just cryptocurrency in general, metaverse, if you want to call it that, where everything is taking off. And there are so many opportunities. This is, in my opinion, the 1999 of the .com. I mean, this is the very beginning. And even though a lot of people say, well, it's kind of already too late, I completely disagree. I think we're very, very early in this entire world. And I think there is a lot of money to be made and a lot of innovation that's coming down the line. I think personally, things like decentralized finance are going to completely change the world. I'm a huge believer in cryptocurrency in general. I think 10 years from now, this is going to look like the infancy. And so there's a ton of opportunities, but you got to be careful what you get into, because there's thousands and thousands of coins, and some of them are just complete garbage. And you can get, rugged, as they say, very easily. So you got to be careful with what you get into. But I think that there is a huge opportunity for people that are forward looking and really get into this. Don't shrug it off as just virtual reality gaming. Don't shrug it off as just some kind of, hype coin or meme coin or things like that. I mean, this is a real thing that's going to, I think, change the world. And so I'm a huge believer in, just because I've looked so much into it. But you got to ask, as an investor, who's positioned right now to take advantage? I think Facebook is staking their claim, saying, hey, we recognize this opportunity and we're going to go for it. And the fact that, they're putting 10 billion in, anybody can do that in theory, but they've got half the world as users. That's so big. And they understand what everybody wants, right? So they've got that data. We've talked about that so much. So they have an opportunity to get that younger demographic with the gaming. And then, of course, Coinbase, I think, obviously they're well positioned right now as the leader. I think they need to come down on fees, and they're going to have a ton of competition over the next few years. But right now, they're clearly the leader as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned that as Coinbase has become pretty popular. But as you mentioned, Landon, I think it's really pertinent to reflect to viewers and investors that a lot of this stuff and volumes that they have within that company are based on coins that are worthless or unregulated. So I expect a lot more regulation to come down the pipeline. But this reminds me, Landon, of years ago, and Kevin can probably attest to this also, when the internet came about and it was slow and it was AOL and everybody was skeptical then. And now it's something that's used on a minute-by-minute basis by almost everyone. So when you look at this, and you mentioned Facebook getting in first and changing their name, it's always is there always going to be that advantage from your data aspects that you guys look at, that first in is always going to have that advantage? We've got Tesla first in for EVs, and they innovate a lot quicker. But search engines, Google, Alphabet, first in, right? They've got that advantage. Is that what you're looking at when you look at Facebook as kind of pulling out all the stops, investing $10 billion? That hey, they might be one of the players, but they're going to be first in, changing their name and everything else.
You know what? I don't really think there's a huge first mover advantage in this space. I think there is a best mover advantage. And, you could argue a lot of your examples like Tesla. There was electric cars before Tesla, but they completely made it better, like 100 times better. So they were the first one who actually competed with gasoline powered cars and actually were superior. So I think there is a huge premium on efficiency, creativity, innovation, and just competency. And so you